Hey guys, Ken with Provectus Group coming to you to talk to you about the top 10 ways to prepare for the coronavirus. Welcome back. So yes, it's going to be the top 10 ways to prepare for the coronavirus, but also this is a great way to prepare just in general for other emergencies as well. The first thing that we're going to talk about is water. Water is extremely important. In fact, it's more important than food. You can go a lot longer without food than you can water. So obvious, people are going out and buying bottled water. I think that's a great idea. Maybe have 4 to 6 cases, just depending on the size of your family. If you feel that you need more, definitely get more. What I do like about bottled water is it's portable. I can throw it in the back of my truck, throw it in the back of the SUV, and it's there. As a matter of fact, I usually like to keep a case of water in my vehicle at all times. But let me show you something that I think is a little bit better than having bottled water. And it's this. It's from Sawyer. This is a mini filtration device. This is small enough where you can take all the contents out of this packaging and you can put it inside of your pocket, take it anywhere you need to go. It includes its own bladder, so you can take that bladder, dip it in a creek, dip it in a pool, dip it in whatever the water source is. After you've dipped the bladder in and gotten some water, you can take this straw here. That's what this orange thing is right here. You can screw it onto the bladder. You can screw it onto some bottled water, where you just use the bottle to get some water and you can drink straight from the source. It is awesome, very convenient. It filters up to 100,000 gallons. That's the equivalent of, I think, 276 years of drinking a gallon of water a day. It's going to outlive us. This is a $30 and under purchase. You got to have it. All right, so the next thing that you want to have is food. This is the main things that you need to be thinking about when considering food. You want items that can be stored at room temperature, and you want them to have a 1 to 3 year shelf life. That's pretty much it. I like canned goods. Exactly what I just told you is the reason why I like canned goods. Is usually 1 to 3 years shelf life. It's basically a meal in a can. 2, we've all had it where we're getting our groceries out of the car, the can busts through the bag, rolls down the driveway all the way down to the street. We go down there and pick it up. It's still good to go. They're self-protecting, and that kind of stuff is very important, especially if you're trying to haul butt and leave and do all that kind of stuff. There's a good chance that this is going to survive. Good calories, good carbs, good protein. This is what you need, and it's cheap. Next thing, and the reason why we have so many different things is because you want variety. The last thing I want is to eat savory chicken with white and wild rice every single day. That's going to crush morale for sure. So we're going to kick it old school and go with some Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs. Go back to childhood. Got more? Dry foods like this, ramen noodles or the like. When we went to get some, there were no more ramen noodles, so hopefully this tastes good. But stuff like this is awesome. You don't even really need water. I've eaten this kind of stuff raw before, so go grab you this. This stuff is like $1. You get like 10 for 10 bucks. Tuna salad. It's already mixed. One of these already has the spoon in it. You can throw a couple of these in your pocket if you're having to leave the house. You've got enough food for the day. This stuff costs like 75 cents to $1. Cheap. Stuff like this, Prego ready meals. When we go and we work hurricanes and we're gone, we're usually without, normal sustenance, the availability of restaurants and stuff like that for at least a month. Got to have stuff like this. These usually have a shorter shelf life, usually about 6 to 9 months, but it's really good. It doesn't have to be heated up. This is a marinara and Italian sausage rotini. I've had this for many, many years, and it's awesome. But little stuff like this is very, very important. And we even have more than this, but we have variety. So we're not eating the same thing every single day, and it actually tastes decently well. Last thing that I'll say about food. I have MREs. I know a lot of people immediately when they think about emergency preparedness in food, they're like, well, I need to go and get MREs, or I need to go and, spend $200, $400 on these emergency preparedness, food kits and stuff like that. And hey, those are great options, But I like these options a little bit better because I've got more variety. It's a lot cheaper, and it's actually stuff that I eat. I'm not really trying to eat ration bricks. I have those, but that's the last thing that I'm going to be trying to eat. That means Russia is invaded, shit hit the fan a long time ago, and this is the last stuff that I have to eat. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. One last thing about the cans. Most likely you're not going to remember to bring a can opener. So get the self-opening cans like this. That will come in so handy, trust me. All right, next thing you're going to be needing is first aid or medical supplies. Now, this is a fairly large bag. I honestly can't remember where I got it. I think I got it at a gun show or something like that. And it's full of everything from boo-boo stuff to like, oh my gosh, I have an arterial bleed and we need tourniquets and, you know, hemostatic agents and things like that. It's important to have something like that. It's important to have the boo-boo kit, especially. The likelihood of actually of us needing a tourniquet, using a tourniquet, needing trauma dressings and things of that nature are actually low. What's more apt to happen is you need a Band-Aid, you need antiseptic wipes, you need things like that, the boo-boo stuff. So make sure that you're spending the time to make sure that you have what you need in the boo-boo kit. Plenty of Band-Aids, plenty of antiseptic wipes. You need like anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen, some Tylenol, stuff for like stomach antacid if you have diarrhea, if you have stomach issues, you know, Pepto-Bismol, things like that. That kind of stuff is crucial. Things like that will make a bad day that you're already having because you've been in your house for 2 weeks, it'll make it 4 times worse, trust me. But you also do need that big trauma stuff too. I love the fact that this comes in a backpack because I can throw this in my vehicle and it's very portable. It's a backpack. I can throw it on my back and just go, and I have everything that I need. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is your medications. We just got through talking about medical, so medications. And when I say medication, I'm talking prescription medication. For people who have like heart conditions or they take any medication that directly affects their livelihood, like the fact of whether or not they're going to live or die, you definitely need to make sure that you have those prescriptions on hand. And I would definitely make sure that they're inside of a container that's portable so you can grab it and leave quickly in an emergency. Also, another little tidbit is it's a great idea to have prescription medications like antibiotics, penicillin, and things like that. That stuff is extremely crucial. Going back to my previous statement, EpiPens also fall into this category. There's a ton of different stuff that falls into this category, but as long as you understand, you need to be thinking about that kind of stuff as well. The next thing that we're going to talk about is your actual vehicle. In times like this, and I usually don't like to let my vehicle get below 3/4 of a tank. Under normal circumstances, I usually don't like my tank of gas to get under about a half a tank. At the most, a quarter. You know, let's just kind of be real. But I don't like it to get to E for sure. So, but in times like this, don't let it get below 3/4 of a tank. You want to have that option to be able to leave. The next thing that we're going to talk about is communication. Communication is key. In a lot of instances, communication, like in like a civil unrest, civil breakdown, things like that, end of the world, whatever you want to call it. The first two things that usually have to be established is security and communication, and they go hand in hand. So grabbing little radios like these are from Baofeng. These are under $30 each. They're vital. You can program them. It can be encrypted. You know what you're saying and all that kind of stuff. Go grab you some communication like this just to have as a little backup. These things last forever as far as battery are concerned, and they're cheap, but they're rugged and they get the job done. Communication is everything. We can't really depend on these cell phones because heck, if the grid goes down, the grid's down. The next thing that we're going to talk about is a firearm, a way to protect yourself. Now, this right here, this is a Gen 5 Glock 34 MOS, and excellent pistol, holds 17 rounds, it gets the job done. But there's something in particular that I want to talk about in regards to firearms is a lot of us have multiple guns. We have safes with 20, 30, I know people with hundreds of firearms. In times like this, I want to pick certain guns. I want one pistol and one long gun. That long gun can be an AR-15. It can be something like this. It can be a firearm or shotgun type. This is a Mossberg 590 Shockwave. It is considered a firearm, but it's still a long gun. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because, yeah, you might have 100 guns, but you need to be picking like the gun that you're going to be trusting your life with. So I trust my life to this. I trust my life to M&P 2.0s. So it'll be this or an M&P 2.0. It'll be that shotgun or an AR-15. I like thinking about it from this perspective because it keeps things very simple. You know, I don't need 25 guns with 25 different types of ammunition. You know, I would prefer to just stick with one pistol, so I can stick with one type of ammunition and one type of magazine type. I can just buy a bunch of one magazine and I don't have to worry about it. Same with the long gun. You know, if I pick my AR-15, all I have to do is worry about getting a bunch of PMags and 5.56 ammunition. It keeps things very, very simple. The other thing too is that if you got a bug out, those are the two firearms that I'm going to take with me. I'm going to have my pistol and I'm going to have my long gun. I'm telling you, it keeps things simple, and in times like this, simple is everything. Organized is everything, because you're honestly going to be worried about everything else, so let's not complicate it. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is ammunition. Now, it's very, very obvious why you would need some ammunition in times like this to be able to protect yourself and your family, your neighbors, the people around you, etc. But there's something that I think is extremely flawed with this, and I see people do this all the time. And if you're noticing, I'm waving a 33 round magazine in front of your face, The reason why is because I've witnessed it for myself. People going out and they're buying thousands of rounds. I've had people hitting me up, Kent, I need ammo. How many rounds you need to get, bro? How many rounds you want, man? I want 20,000. I'm like, that's cool, but you need magazines for that 20,000. Ammunition does you no good when it's still in the box. No good. It's doing nothing for you. So there's no sense in buying 5,000 rounds unless you have magazines that can hold 5,000 rounds. You need 5,000 rounds worth of magazines, period. So, you know, I've got the Glock 34 here, right? Comes with a standard 17 round, but now I've got a 33 round in there now. I went and purchased a lot of these 33 round magazines. I've got the 17 round mags, 24 round mags, 33 round mags, and 40 round mags. I even have a 50 round drum. You don't need a ton of ammo. 1,000 rounds of pistol, maybe 1,000 rounds of 5.56, but more importantly, you need magazines that can hold all that ammunition so you can actually use it to defend yourself. The next thing that I would like to talk about is eyeglasses and contacts, and it kind of falls into the category with prescription meds, but having a spare set of sunglasses, your eyeglasses or your contacts is huge. I wear contacts. I need to make sure that it's with me. Being able to see is pretty damn important, especially when you got a bunch of people running around acting a fool. The next thing I want to talk about is a renewable energy source. Reason why we need a renewable energy source is that we are so dependent on the electrical grid. So it's important that we have the ability to not only charge our devices, but that energy that we're using to charge the devices is renewable. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Going with simple things like this. This is a little lantern that you can buy on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. This is a lantern, but it's also a 15,000 milliamp hour power pack. It has a light on the bottom, and it's actually big enough to, or bright enough to actually light up a room, which is great. It has a way for you to charge this, and it also has a way for you to charge like your cell phone. You can charge your phone like 4, 5, 6 times with this, and I love it. And it also keeps the time, and it also keeps the temperature. So here's a power pack. It's a great idea. The next thing is like this. This is a multi-purpose crank radio. I can listen to the weather band. I can listen to the radio in general. It's got a solar panel on top, which is good. So it is a renewable energy source. This is super cheap, 30 bucks. It has a couple flashlights on it, which is great. You can charge your phone because it also has a 2000 milliamp hour battery or power pack. Am I missing anything? It's got a SOS alarm, and it's a hand crank. So not only is it solar, but you can also hand crank this bad boy. I think it's like crank it for 20 minutes or something like that. I don't know. And then it charges the battery so much. Anyway, it's a renewable energy source. I've even got another one that you can go with. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is stuff like vitamins. And the reason why I put this on the list is because we have to think about the preventive things, that we need to be doing outside of just quarantining ourselves and sitting in a house all day. Vitamin C is an excellent way to help boost the immune system and avoid contracting viruses and things like this from the get-go. So I'd recommend having vitamin C. I like the gummies because I can eat a ton of them things and it's good. So have those vitamins that you need so that you can make sure that you are maintaining good health at all times. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is you need a decent sized storage or like a plastic tote. And you want a tote that's not going to be too big for your vehicle. So whether you're having to throw it in the trunk, or if you have an SUV, you're going to throw it in the back trunk area, or a pickup truck, you're throwing it in the bed, or even for people who have a car and you're going to throw it in the back seat. You want to make sure that it's going to fit in your vehicle, but you want it to be big enough to store all these things that I've been talking about on the list. With most modern vehicles, you can get a tote big enough where you can have 30 days of food and all the supplies that I've talked about in this list. The reason why it's important to have a plastic tote, preferably one that's waterproof, is because you need to be able to be mobile. Remember, mobility equals survivability. Whether you're in a gunfight or you're dealing with something like this, you need to be able to move at a moment's notice. And the last thing you need to be doing is trying to gather all these things. Hell, it took me 10 minutes to gather this stuff just for the video. I may not have that time. So having a tote, very, very important. All these things that I was talking about, you can put in the tote, leave it next to the front door. If it's time to go, everybody's heading out the door. You're gonna grab your rifle, grab your pistol. If you have body armor, grab your body armor, and you're gonna grab that tote. Keeps things real simple, especially in a very, very stressful situation like we're all going through right now. And I'm gonna end this video with this. Everybody is nervous, including myself, and we've been prepared for stuff like this. Everybody's nervous, everybody's a little bit afraid. And the biggest thing that I'll say is that what's gonna determine how this goes is how we all react. If we can react in a decent manner, and when I say react in a decent manner, I'm saying not stabbing each other over toilet paper. Let's try to extend a little bit more love and compassion. We're all going through a lot of shit. We are, and I get it. But keep that kind of stuff in mind, because for the most part, most of us are in a pretty decent enough situation to where we'll be able to get through stuff like this without an issue. But you got to think about the millions of people that are out there that don't have access to the resources that the majority of us have, or don't even have a place to stay. Imagine that kind of scenario. So yes, all of our situations is a little rough right now, but there are people out there who their daily situation, minus a virus like this or a pandemic like this, is bad on a daily basis. So let's try to keep that kind of stuff in mind. Let's share more love. Let's share more compassion, because we all need it. Even us tough dudes with guns and all that kind of stuff, we need it too. So let's try to help one another out. Let's try to extend a lot of patience. Honestly, I truly feel that this can go well as long as we stay cool. That's the biggest thing. As soon as people start losing their shit and losing their minds and all that kind of stuff, it's gonna get bad. So I really hope that you kind of take this kind of stuff serious. I know we joke a lot about, the apocalypse and zombies, and that kind of stuff is probably never going to happen. But stuff like this can, and it is happening. So this isn't the time to point the finger at people and say, oh, I told you so, and I told you this could happen. I told you should have had a gun, because there's millions of people that are flocking to the stores who were anti-gun yesterday, who are going out and purchasing firearms. So for all of us who are firearm people already, let's welcome them with open arms. Everybody needs to help everybody. If you understand the basic fundamentals of using a firearm, whether it's a pistol or a rifle or both, extend that knowledge and that information to them people, to the new gun owners that are out there, because those are the people that are going to be standing right next to you if it gets to that kind of point, which I pray it never does. But we have to be prepared for that, and we have to embrace these people. That's what we'd want if it was opposite. So I just had to kind of put that out there because, you know, at the end of the day, we can only depend on one another. We cannot depend on the government. It's impossible. They cannot save us. It is impossible. So get that out your mind. If you want to survive this and anything that's to come in the future, you can only depend on yourself, and you can only depend on each other. So let's start loving each other instead of fighting one another. I think that's probably the best damn advice out of this entire video. So from everybody here at Provectus Group, we love you. We hope that you all stay safe. If you need anything, you know how to reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have. If you do have questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'm going to dedicate a decent amount of time to make sure that I'm answering those questions. Again, we love you. We hope you stay safe, and we'll see you next time. I wanted to thank you guys so much for tuning in. For more content and shenanigans, hit us up on Facebook or Instagram or on our website, provectusgroup.org. And since I know you guys are so awesome, hit that damn subscribe and like button. Love you guys, and see you next time.